I want to even just break down the both of the words unchecked and balance, right? So, unchecked means especially of something undesirable, not controlled or restrained, not examined, especially in order to determine the accuracy, quality, or condition of something. Unchecked, balance, and even distribution of weight, enabling someone or something to remain upright and steady. And when we was talking off camera, we was talking about how you have this balance where it could be lopsided at some point in your life and season of your life. It could be up, it could be down. And as you endure the weight that is up on each side, it'll eventually balance itself out if you endure. When I seen this, it struck a nerve in a sense, because when you leave things unchecked, there are certain things that are weakened that will never get strengthened. And there's an unchecked power within you that you don't even realize that you have, that you can't even use. So, and with the unchecked power, that can lead to abuse of authority, that can lead to abuse of you being the greatest version of yourself. It can lead to all these different balls of effect when it comes to life as a whole.
The B2S podcast is brought to you by Motivated Apparel. Motivated Apparel, the premier gear for motivation. A brand that motivates, inspires, and empowers you to stay motivated while chasing your dreams. Head on over to www.shiftmotivations.com/shop Motivated Apparel and grab yourself some Motivated Apparel today.
Yo, what up, world? What it do? Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blueprint to Success podcast. Hey, once again, we are excited and delighted to be joined with you on tonight, and we just thank y'all for tuning in. Continue to like, subscribe. If you ain't hit the subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that and hit the notification bell, so that way when we drop a new episode, you'll be the first to know. And y'all know what it is, man. Once again, this your boy Mike Mariner, a.k.a. the Chef Motivator. We're joined together along tonight with all of my co-hosts, man. My brother from another mother. Yes, sir. Mr. Dumbo, Mr. Like Me, Mr. Throne Robe. Hey, Mr. Philosopher, the doctor himself.
Oh, Lord.
Hey,
Thanks.
y'all give it up for my brother Alexander Hall.
You keep throwing that doctor on.
They got a nice ring to it, though.
It do.
I'm
It do.
They got a nice ring to it.
My
Dr.
uncle's
Hall.
a doctor. He's a doctor.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I be chopping up with him sometime.
Yo,
Picking his brain. But that doctorate, bro, that's a long road.
that is,
It is.
man.
It's a long road, but I think that'd be something that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's a purpose thing. Like you do something like that, you got to be locked in on what you called to do. So
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with nobody else. It got to do with your personal goals and how you feel about what you're doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if once you kind of hit that road when you go back,
Yeah.
you be like, man, I might as well just go ahead, and I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Lord, whew.
Shoot, I'm looking
Probably,
at mine.
maybe probably.
Facts.
Starting back in August. I'll be going back, but that's a little trip around the sun right there.
It is.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's good though. I mean, that's good though. Yeah, education is good.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kind of excited a little bit, you know.
You know, I told my son, I say, Pop, I said, baby, I don't care what you do. Like you can, if you want to go to trade school, or if you want to go to a community college first, then go to a big school, or if you want to head off to, I say, but I see either one, you can do kind of what you want. I don't care what you do. I'm gonna help you direct whatever me and your mom gonna help you do direct whatever that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I say, and also you don't have to go to college. You can trade school it. You can, I say, but not educating yourself is not an option. So
Right.
if you're not going to a university, you doing some tutorial somewhere. You getting some non-traditional education. That's what Robert Kiyosaki call it.
Yep.
Right.
Non-traditional
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you going to seminars and stuff like that,
Right.
you learning specific things for a specific result. I say
Right.
so, but just not educating yourself.
No.
Right.
We not doing that.
Right. We ain't on that. Right.
No, we not
At
doing
all.
that.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
not doing that.
Hey, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So, yeah, man. So y'all know who this other brother is, man. My brother from the same mother, Mr. Big Bag,
Biggest
Oh,
man.
dang.
Big Dog,
What's happening?
Mr. Let Me Hold Up.
I got it.
Mr. I'm still waiting on it.
I'm gonna get it. Cause it's more on the way, baby.
For sure.
Man, y'all give it up for my brother, Boy Wonder, man. What's happening, brother?
Doing good, man.
Hey, Jamie Foxx is a clown. I watched a
Bruh.
clip with him today, man. I said, boy, he is underrated for real.
He is, bro. Like multifaceted, multi-talented. Like what can't he do? Literally. But just good, bro. Cause you know we were just together and we had our weekend, you know, with Pops
Yeah.
for Father's Day, and man, I'm just it was like a great reset. You know what I mean? And just being able to rest and then also enjoy my family.
Yeah.
Coming off of that. So about to hit the road again in Cartersville this weekend. So by the time y'all see this, we'll be in Cartersville, Georgia. So just working the vision, bro. Like you said, we're getting ready to start school here in August. So I've really been doing internal work and adjustments, internal work, and just basically where I see myself, where I want to go, things I know I need to work on that I got to be more disciplined on. And so just being honest and truthful with myself, with reality of what I'm preparing for. So I don't overcompensate and get overwhelmed. So it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, I let everybody know where I'm at, what's the expectations within the next few years, realistically, what I can do, and still be able to help in some capacity. So,
Yeah.
because I always want to be there for my brothers. I always want to be able to help in some way, shape, fashion, form, even if it's connected with somebody that can be in the area of what you're looking for expertise-wise. So, and just allow myself to really rest. I think that's more important than anything for me right now, mentally, and just being able to just like sit with myself and just do the necessary work, man. So.
Yeah.
As dropping new music and projects and things of that nature. So, Squad is out, you know what I'm saying? You can head over to the BTG Media Network app. If you haven't already, check it out. If you like it, you know what I'm saying, you create a free account. And if you want to go further more into it, you want to get more content, podcasts, music videos, documentaries, all that good stuff, you can get a premium package, $2.99 for the month and $29 for the year. So. We're just pushing that and just really just trying to make waves in the community, bro. And just really just, because it's a shift happening that I'm seeing. It's a huge shift. So we just, where everybody here at the table and with my brothers back home, we just want to be ahead of the curve.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to position yourself to be ahead of the curve. So that means every aspect, personally, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, intelligently, you know, all of that. So, but what about you, broski? How are you doing, Mr. Execution of Excuses? You know what I'm saying? Like, how's everything? I know we were together and things of that nature.
Oh yeah, outside that, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We I don't know by the time this airs it'll be done, but I'll be at Southeastern this weekend. So I'll be second year in a row that I've been asked to kind of lead the charge. It's kind of crazy that they changed the whole leadership camp, the charge camp. It's not called charge
wow.
leadership. So So I'm excited about that. So I'll be ministering to the huddle leaders. The huddle leaders are those, for those that don't know, the huddle leaders will be the people that will be watching over the kids for the whole week. So each huddle leader have a certain number of kids that they'll be staying in the rooms with. So that basically be their own personal, basically youth pastor for the week, in so many words. So I'll be doing that, and then I got a three-day leadership workshop that I'll be teaching for 3 days. So like I did last, so it's been kind of dope. So I'm looking forward to that this week. And then we taking the team to team building, like what we call it, Lake Day. So over at the Rock Church. So yeah, looking forward to that. So we do team build. They got this program. They do camps and stuff out there. So there's team building. We do team building. Then water games. Just kind of hanging out, bonding, and then they feed you. Oh, they food good too, dog. food good.
Yeah, just finesse about the food.
Yeah, food bust down.
Bust down.
Yeah. I'm talking about like fried fish, hush puppies, grits, cheese grits.
Oh Lord,
Fried. Yo, good.
You saw his face when he said cheese grits.
Oh, but, hey, bro, when they said
Bruh.
cheese grits, no, they said grits.
gosh.
We do grits and then we do cheese grits. They was like, I said, okay, yeah, they know what they talking about. Then they you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you be scratching your head.
Throw some shrimps and sausage in that mug.
So yeah, I'm so excited about that, man. So we got that going on, and you do that, and then once that's settled, then we got chapel.
Yeah.
So they'll do like a worship service, and then they'll present a message, and then we go home.
That's
what I'm
cool.
saying? So got a pretty busy week coming up.
The Rock Church, that's
Right off of Lucerne Park.
it's Baptist or non-denominational.
No, I think they're non-denominational.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're non-denominational. So other than that, yeah, I actually went out. Just brief. Actually, I went out to go out briefly, but ended up staying longer, man. You just never know how God's work when you start talking to kids, man. So, or just just talking to individuals in it. Anyway, so but just had some conversations with some kids that went really good. So, kind of ministered, poured out a little bit what I wasn't expecting, because I just had to go out there and share a few things concerning the trip, actually, making sure that they understood what's going to be required of them, and then just end up, talking about 2 or 3 on the side on a personal note. So, well, yeah, that was special, man. Got a special group of kids, man. Like this second year group is special.
Yeah.
Is special. So just hearing their heart, even though we're expecting to have a good season, but just kind of listen to some of the concerns that they got. It was kind of dope that they observed and was accurate in their observance, because I had said the same thing. So it's like, wow. I say, man, y'all on it, man. So maybe we'll get that portion together. Hopefully before it's too late. So, because I told them today. I said, man, you don't want to waste this opportunity. I said, here's the thing, y'all, what y'all don't know. I done been out here longer than any of our coaches on staff. And I've been through the teams that felt like they should have went to state. And they mismanaged their opportunity. Don't beat them. Because we got some pieces, dog. When I say I'm talking about all around from top to bottom. We got pieces. So, and it's giving that vibe. Like, we should, but are we? Unchecked balances.
Bruh, I'm
leaving things unchecked, man, then thinking that it's just gonna take care of itself. It ain't gonna happen, dog.
no.
It ain't gonna happen. I shared the story when I said I was 150 pounds, but I think I was actually probably about 135, 140 maybe at that time. I had to hit a tight end. Had to be about 200 pounds. I said, boy, I ain't gonna lie to you. I said, I was scared. I ain't gonna lie to you. I said, because I knew, because I studied what was going on, and I said, I know that play was fit to get called. So I hit him before he even had the opportunity to I separated him from the ball, put it that way.
He went one way, the ball went the other.
That's literally what happened. Yeah, and I was like, because I shared that, I said, because I didn't buy into what Coach told me. I say, Coach told me Mariner football is 90% mental, 10% physical. I say, tell that to somebody else. Not this 135-pound dude. But when I made that play, man, it was like, hey, Coach right.
Mm-hmm.
I was scared, but it was like I hit him. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, it was gonna be him or me. Because I know if I let him get rolling, ain't no way I'm fit to tackle that. 200 against 135. So I was telling them that, just buying into what's going on, in the system. And right there, I said we can't look at, okay, we he's talented. I said, yeah, but you gotta look at who we playing. You gotta look at what you're up against.
Yeah.
Because the things that you leave unchecked can be the very thing that could be your detriment. Right. It could be the very reason why you lose. You know what I'm saying? It could be very why you lose in the game of life, the game of success in your business. Because you're unchecking things, you're letting things go because, you straight in this area, but are you?
Mm-hmm.
That's the
real question.
That's the question. Are you? Because I'm looking at the schedule because we got a tough schedule, and all of this is gonna come back full circle. So don't touch the dial, because we in tonight's topic. So I'm looking at the schedule, like we got a tough schedule this year. Mm-hmm. So it's like we're tough. We've been tough. I say, but are you gonna be able to go the distance? Like me, I'm 5'9", 135, 140 pounds, fit to hit a 5'10", 5'11", 200-pound tight end. Can you go the distance? Because you may be 5'10", 200 going against a 6'2", 6'3", 275, 280, 300-pound lineman. What you gonna do? Mm-hmm. And they don't care about your talent. That's off balance right there. Just
off the cuff.
Off the cuff. So sometimes we look at life and things become off balance, off the cuff, but we're looking. We didn't check that because we straight over there. When, like I was telling them guys, y'all, that's what the summer off season is for. Mm-hmm. You got to get bigger. You got to get faster. You got to get stronger in every area. You cannot just, you fast. Okay, I get it to you. You fast. But when we go against them over there, they got 3 of you.
Exactly. Ratio outweighs.
You know what I'm saying? So I guess they kind of lead up into tonight's topic. So I'm gonna alley you this the dub and let you do the intro.
Man, I want to even just break down the both of the words unchecked and balance, right? So unchecked means especially of something undesirable, not controlled or restrained, not examined, especially in order to determine the accuracy, quality, or condition of something. Unchecked, balance, and even distribution of weight, enabling someone or something to remain upright and steady. And when we was talking off camera, we was talking about how you have this balance where it could be lopsided at some point in your life and season of your life. It could be up, it could be down. And as you endure the weight that is up on each side, it'll eventually balance itself out if you endure. Mm-hmm. When I seen this, it struck a nerve in a sense, because when you leave things unchecked, there are certain things that are weakened that will never get strengthened. Mm-hmm. And there's an unchecked power within you that you don't even realize that you have, that you can't even use. Mm-hmm. So, and with the unchecked power, that can lead to abuse of authority. That can lead to abuse of you being the greatest version of yourself. It can lead to all these different balls of effect when it comes to life as a whole. Because there's some things that I know for myself that are unchecked, that needs to be checked. If you're real with yourself and you understand where you are and where you're going. When there's a system of checks and balances that are weakened and ignored, they manifest in so many ways that it can become overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And you'll spill on those you love, you'll spill on everything that can disrupt what God is trying to do within you and for you. Because everything that's happening to us is really happening for us if you really understand the mindset. Because once again, some podcasts ago we said growth mindset. Growth is a mindset. It has to you have to endure to know what you're limited at so you can adjust and make up for that. You have to. It's like lifting weights. Ain't nobody coming off lifting 250 pounds, 300 pounds. They endured weight set after weight set, which means they had a certain limit of weight off what they weigh that they're able to push up and get to a point to where they can say, oh, I can lift this, I can lift that. I'm stronger, I'm faster, I have more mobile ability because of the extensive workouts that I'm doing. So when you have unchecked balances, there's things that you don't even realize that you need to tap into for your next level of purpose or where you're going to and where you're headed. Because it's very valid. You have to know what in your life is unbalanced. And you have to even be willing to help those around you to help shape that and mold that and so when it's balanced out. So when that shift happens again, you can identify it. Oh man, hold up. I've been kind of slacking off this here. I need to tighten up on that. Hold on. I haven't been as focused or as intentional or as motivated to do this, that, and the third. So unchecked balances only strengthens you and helps you if you allow it to strengthen and help you. It can also hurt you if you're willing to stay and wallow in it. You just can't. It's not feasible for you and those that are around you. It's not fair to those that are around you, and most importantly, it's not fair for yourself. So in unchecked balances, I think, man, there's a plethora of things we can go down the road with when it comes to that, and also being able to recognize that. And a lot of times we don't recognize that until it's something that we encountered that we didn't realize we weren't even ready for. That's when it first manifests and exposes. So, for example, like when you hear other artists doing what they're doing and how they're moving and the way that they move, it'll not conjure up, but it'll remind you of things that, oh, well, I need to tighten up. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a level that they're operating in that I desire to operate in, that I'm not operating in, that I know I need to tap in and operate in. So that's the unchecked balance. You know what I'm saying? So, and we have different professions that we're in, but it's crazy how unchecked balance is universal. Like no one is really exempt from that.
Bro,
because go ahead.
Bro, whatever you don't check, you become a slave to.
That's good.
It enslaves you. If you got stuff that you don't put in check, you will become enslaved to that very thing.
Yep.
I know a whole bunch of fly slaves right now. No,
For real, bro.
I know a whole bunch of pretty slaves right now. They are enslaved to whatever that they didn't pluck up. They are enslaved to their mind frame. They are enslaved to their sexuality. They are enslaved to vanity. So they just care about how stuff look. And how they dress and how their hair look and what kind of car that he drive. And he only care about his jewelry and how he sound and how he appeal. You are enslaved to it. Like whatever you don't check, you become subject to that thing to where that thing becomes your identity. And your mind begins to move based upon that thing. And that's not even who you are. So you begin treating other people in relationships and instances based upon the very thing that has warped your mind. Some people got big balls and long chains.
Yep.
Some people got big balls and short chains. So they can go this distance, they can keep going, but when they hitting up, they get jerked back. You can't go that far because you got something you need to take care of back here.
Yep.
You got 20 miles of chain.
Yep.
God, dog, bro.
He show up to 20 years later.
You got 20 miles of chain, and the other person can't see the chain on the other side of your leg.
Yeah.
So they think you going the distance with them. But as soon as you hit this mark, you get yanked back because you can't and you won't because you got something 20 miles back you didn't take care of.
Yep.
Bro, I
love that.
I like something Dion did during the combine. Now these guys been running the 40 time. Like it's a science to running the 40. So
Right.
'cause I know you're not a big sports guy, but it's a science to running the 40. I mean, technique, hand placement, leg, everything a millisecond. Everything is schematic and strategic for you to get your best time, because that's what they grade you by. So you know Dion played at the highest level, the best at it.
Mm-hmm.
So them boys straight. You ain't got to come out there trying to. So this one NFL guy, he comes out there like at the time of the 40 that they're supposed to like take it like in a matter of time. So he comes out there. This is an NFL guy, professional guy from the league, is telling them how to run the 40. That's contrary to what they've been doing their whole life or that whole time. So Dion comes over and intercepts that, and like it pretty much checks the guy. Like how dare you come over here? These guys, we've checked off on this. They good. And you trying to get them or tell them a whole new technique right before they get ready to take the test. Get out of here, man, because you're trying to. And so when we're not careful of things like that come into our life to try to get us off our rocker, because we're not paying attention enough of what's going on and how we move and how we operate, then it's going to come in and then you're going to fail the test. You know, and I thought that was big. I thought that was big of Dion, and I'm seeing how. I want y'all to see how I'm equating this to life stuff, because here's a man that knew. Because see, some of you guys, you know certain things. You know you got to go back and revisit some issues. You know that certain things trigger you. You know that certain emotional scars come up when certain things happen or when you're in a certain environment. That's an example of that coach coming into your life. You got to deal with that. If Dion would not have dealt with that coach, they could have messed them boys 40 time up. And that's a big marquee thing that scouts look at when you're being graded on certain attributes when it comes to the NFL Combine.
Yep.
Like that can be a difference between a $4 million contract and a $40 million contract. Because of when they decide to pick you based upon, because that's just huge. So the fact that he was able to address that, dismiss that, and then trust what he learned up to that point, they got him to where they are, and keep it moving. And so in order to get to the next level and whatever that is in your relationship, your job, career, your family, whatever that looks like you got to go back and check that. Because if you don't check that distraction, because guess what? If them guys would have switched their technique at the last minute, they would have ran a bad time.
Man, bro, if you don't check your distractions, you become one. If you don't check your distractions, everywhere you go in a healthy place, you will become that other person's distraction.
Yeah.
You will become that other person's.
Yeah.
If you don't check your error, you will become the next person's downfall. I'm going to repeat that. If you don't check your error, you will become the next person's downfall.
Man, that's good. Boy.
That's real good, dog.
I like this, Alexander.
Yeah.
I'm saying you will.
Yes.
Like you would become that if it's a guy, if you know you got trauma, you've been hurt, you've been this. If you don't do work on yourself, when you meet that woman who was a decent, nice young woman, you gonna dog her out. Same thing with you, girl. You're gonna dog him out because you ain't did no work. You been dogged out.
Bro, that's crazy.
You done turned into Clifford. You big red dog.
That's what happens. When you're superficial.
You done turned into a dog. Now you right here dogging that thing out. No, that's not how it works.
Bro, that's crazy.
If you don't check your error, for real talk, that's how it goes, bro. That's how it goes. If you don't check your error, am I right or wrong?
No, you are.
If I'm wrong, then tell me now. Walk off.
You did right. No, you did right.
If you don't check your error, you will become the downfall for whatever healthy substance. Now, if they flaw and you flaw, y'all are perfect flawedness.
You're perfectly flawed together.
Perfect flawedness. I mean, everybody has flaws, but I'm saying if you off and they're off, then y'all gonna be off together.
Well, I mean,
So-
that's what the word says. How can the blind lead the blind unless they both fall in the ditch?
Right. So, in workplace, if you got this victim mentality, when you do get a new job, you're gonna come in that new office with this old stank attitude, and eventually everybody gonna smell it because you got the old stuff on you from your last job. You bringing your last job problems to the new job. This ain't this new job, the old job. This is the new job. This is a new manager. You getting new pay. This is a new building. This is a new floor. Don't bring that old stuff in because you're gonna taint what's going on in here.
Right.
Exactly.
So if you don't check your error, whatever relationship, whatever businessship, whatever that's going on that's new, that's healthy, you're gonna be the one who causes the downfall in that situation.
Yep.
Yeah, bro, it's funny, man. My mind just reminded. It was a post that I read from one of my friends on Facebook, and now this is a real friend. Two friends of the opposite sex. The male friend called the female friend, and was like wanted some advice because it felt like the girl was kind of like his girl was kind of moving like differently.
Yeah.
So, been together for a couple years now,
Right.
and just like felt like she like the relationship was different things, and so. So the friend, which was the girl, she say, so she she keeping it a buck. She telling them like the real stuff, and so she goes to check his because she's friends with both of them. So she goes to check the girl's not Facebook, but Instagram page, and she realizes, man, she ain't posted a picture of them together since months ago. She's like, oh yeah, she checked out. So she checked out. She get her fit on, and but when I look at the time space, and I'm kind of putting my own spin on it because of what I read, because you have your own interpretation and it could be wrong. But what I'm looking at is okay, y'all been together, and it wasn't a long time, but it's still a couple years is a lot of time with one person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, so at what point do you take the next step? Because what I got from that post was you fumbled the bag. You fumbled the bag because now she in her bag. So why didn't you bag that while you had the chance? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's what I kind of got out of that. So I think sometimes what happens is we get comfortable in where we are and who we are, and what happens is that what you didn't check shows up 5, 10, 15, 20 years later.
It do.
And that's why I always encourage people like you 16 years old, son, deal with your issues now. You 17-year-old daughter, deal with your issues now. You don't want to be 45 years old dealing with the 17-year-old that you never dealt with.
That's why I asked
keep
my
brushing
son.
off.
I asked him. I be asking him them big boy questions, bro.
Yeah, you got to.
I asked him, look, I need you to tell me how I'm doing. Like, I said, now is the time for you to be like, don't be trying to hold it in because I'm your dad.
Yeah.
Be respectful. Be respectfully be respectfully disrespectful right now. You know what I mean? Like, tell me really what's going on so I can really make some adjustments. Like, son, how am I doing? Do you need to see me more? What do you need from me? Like, how am I doing? He'd be like, he give me his piece. He be looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But he give me his piece. And I'm like, okay, I'll work on better in this area. And then I check in with him a couple more months and see how I'm doing in that area. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So, and then when I communicate with him
As you're going.
in 3 parts. Now, I learned this from my dad. I communicate with him first as a younger male. And sometimes I think fathers be missing that. Don't be talking to your son like he's not a man, that he's a young man.
Right.
He's still a man. Right. How else is he going to learn how to respect another man if you don't talk to him like a man?
Right. Right. That's good.
That's good.
Right.
All right. So I respect him. I talk to him as a person. So if I'm doing something, he call my name, hold on, give me a second, or I knock on the door if I go to whatever, or hold on, I'm in here, or like respect him as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect him as my son.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to him as my son. It's certain verbiage that you use with your son. It's certain things that you carry on with something that's yours.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I go like that with him, that also amplifies and decodes the relationship, proving that I'm opening the door with you, son, for intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
How I speak to you, how I engage with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I check in that manner. You got to check in that manner. And a lot of people don't know that they have to check in that manner. If you don't check what is wrong, or if you don't check and dismantle how you've been mishandled, because don't get me wrong, most of the time when people are mishandled, they didn't ask for that.
No.
You didn't ask for it to be walked out on. You didn't ask for it to be manipulated. You didn't ask for it to be beat on. You didn't ask for that. Right? So you can't push that to the side.
Right.
But when you become an adult and those things have been done to you, it's your job to distinguish those fires. It's your job to extinguish those fires. It's your job to pull those roots up. Because what you don't pull up, that stuff start growing.
Yeah.
And not everybody knows how to distinguish weeds from grass. It's a difference. Just because it's green don't mean it's grass. Some of that stuff is weeds.
Right. Right.
It's not good for the lawn. You know what I mean? So you gotta tap in that way.
I want to
Definitely.
tap back what you just said. That was huge. I don't know if you caught it, and that's kind of where actually I wanted to kind of go into. What you did was you created a system. We don't create systems for our life. You created a system of checks and balances, because you said you go to him, you ask, you know, what can I do? How am I doing? What can I do better? He gives you his 2 cents,
Right.
and then you change that, you go to work on that, but then you circle back and ask them, how am I doing now? That's a system.
Right.
That is.
Because when I want to go back, like even like in business, there's a system of checks and balances. If there's no system, then chaos has the ability to enter now. If there's no system for me to manage my finances, now chaos comes in, and then I become NSF oriented. I become withdrawn, overdraft fees, stuff like that, because the balance has to balance out. The deposit has to outweigh the withdrawals.
Yes.
So a lot of times what happens, it seems when life happens, the withdrawals outweighs the deposit.
That is. Yep.
Life happens, lose a job, frustration happens, and then we just stop growing altogether. I always say, if you're not growing, you're dying, because you're getting older and life is constantly moving. So if you're standing still, you're dying. That's why I like one of my favorite scenes in Baby Boy, when they was out there standing on the corner. and he said, look around. And something to the fact of, see, everybody that got money, they moving. Everybody moving. But we standing still and we broke. Because they standing still, they're not moving. So if you're not moving, you're actually dying. It ain't that you're staying still, you're actually dying, because time is actually moving forward. Exactly. So you have to create systems, and that's why, like, I'm in the process of creating systems for me and my wife and my family now, recently, just to go back and mull over some of the things that we didn't check.
Bro,
there's some things that was unchecked, bro.
I did the exact, and I ain't even, if you, it's no cap, and the individual can tell you this, it's no cap. When I was in a relationship, the individual, I would go and ask her multiple times. Sometimes maybe, I'm telling you, if it's not every month, once every 2 months, how am I doing? What do I need to work on? It got to the point to where one time the woman told me, she said, she was like, this not a brag. She was just being honest. She said, she said, you're not perfect. She said, but you do a lot of stuff right. She said you do. She said you do a lot of stuff right. She said you're not perfect, but you do a lot of stuff right. She was like, if it's anything that comes up that I feel is off, she said, I'll just let you know.
Right. Right. That's good.
That's good.
That's
Right.
really good.
That's good.
So I carried that over to my relationship. The relationship didn't go the distance, but it did what it was supposed to do. You know what I mean? And I carried that over to my relationship. And when Dub said earlier, when he was like, I'm letting everybody know what I can do, that hit home for me because I did the same thing with him.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I walked it. I was out of there. I said, bro, I know you brought me on to work on the record. You done booked me, bro. This what I got going on, but I'm going to put my best foot forward to work on your project. And they came out and smashed anyway. But I had to let him know where I was at. And it got to the point to where Diamond.
That's good.
Now check this out. Now your friends will know. Your friends should be attentive to you.
Right.
When I'm out of there, it's like Diamond called at the wrong right time.
Yeah.
My man's called at
the wrong right time.
wrong right time. And
I
he
always
know
happen
it.
that way.
And he know it. Cause he caught the right time cause I'm dead in the middle of a storm, but it'd be the wrong time because I'm so clammed I can't talk to nobody right now. So I called him the next day.
Yup.
He said this all the time. He said, bro, I already know, bro. I already know. He said, you saw the phone, you flipped it over. he said, all right. I say, dang. He said, I already know. He said, that's why when I call you like that, he said, I text you the next morning.
Yep.
He said, because normally I know how you act, I know how you respond. And when you tell me this is going on, and then you're not distant, but you're quiet.
Right.
There's a gap.
It's a gap. He said, I know something's wrong with you, so I know you're gonna open up to me soon because I'm at the table. Because I'm already an introvert.
Yeah.
Right.
But people who are introverted, they have small circles because we release in small spurts.
Yep. Yep.
Like, no, so we thrive in small, intimate
Settings.
That's why people who are introverts have to have intimacy in their relationships because there's not a lot of people who we let in.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's why you gotta. But system. Back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
So me and Diamond, we have a system. Everybody who I'm close to have a system.
Yep.
I just brought that over to my personal relationship, and when I was in one, and I'm going to continue that because you need that. So your partner or your partners or your people or your organization can know. How am I supposed to know what I need to work on if I don't ask you? Because in my mind, I can be doing great, but I'm not you. Because I'm giving the service of me. I'm not receiving my service, right? So I need to know what I need to work on. Because if you don't let me know, and if I can't read it, and if you internalize it, then I can't be the better version of myself. I can't give you the version of myself that you deserve to make sure you have an atmosphere of greatness. That's why when you don't open up to your spouse, you are hindering the atmosphere.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Because you deserve to be next to a person who is striving to be the best version of themselves. Why would you not tell me what's going on with how you feel about me so I can work on myself so you can encounter a person who is striving for excellence? Because all that's going to do is rub off on you.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
The B2S podcast is brought to you by No Grind, No Glory Apparel, R828 edition. It's a reminder to stay strong, to be courageous, to starve your fears, and to feed your faith. Even when it feels like everything is falling apart, just know that you were born to stand out and make an impact. Head over exclusively to www.nogrindnoglory.net and grab you some merch as a daily reminder that all things work together.
Hit it right on the nail.
Yeah. That's good, man. Like I say, I'm in the process of switching some things up, man, because it's one thing to be going through life, man. But I always say, don't just go through life, grow through life. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you got people that you deal with. You got your partner, you know, your spouse, things that you deal with, relationship, your sons, your daughters. It's like what you put out there is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So if you don't put out nothing out there, then you're not going to get nothing. And sometimes, and what happens is sometimes people, you can't allow fear to keep you from the possibility of entering into a place of truth and excellence.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is you can't always look at how a person will respond in the past and keep bringing it up in the present. Because my answer yesterday might be different today. And so I think what happens is and this, I was just in a conversation recently with somebody, and we was talking about this, because you can allow the response from past scenarios impact the response that a person is giving now. And that person is not the same person that gave that same response that you're fearful of that they're going to give you in the present moment. You know what I'm saying? So you continue to live not in the present, but in the past. You know what I'm saying? And so you're hindering the growth of that relationship because you're not allowing yourself to be free from bondage. Like bro was talking about the ball and chain. You just ball and chain yourself. And so that's what fear does. Fear is an enabler of stagnation. You will be stagnant for the rest of your life if you're constantly afraid. Like I said, at some point when I faced that dude, I know that was a physical moment, but it was like, in that moment, it's like, I got to get him before he get me. Yeah. Because I'm about to get God, because he way more than me. And sometimes that problem feels like it's way more than what you can handle. But here's the thing, y'all. Man was not meant to be alone. That's what the good book told us.
Right.
Yeah.
So that means that partnership needs to be valued.
And it's a must.
It's a must.
It's a must.
But they both were created in the image and likeness of God. But they was both created differently for each other's needs. System. God created a system to take care of man's needs.
System, not sickness.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay, let's
Let
system. So
come on, bro. Come on, dog.
system, not sickness.
Yeah.
We're gonna be all the way over there.
When we came up with the title, I already knew this was gonna be
all the way.
Like,
all the way live.
Some individuals are so deep in their trauma till they thrive in the sickness. They can't be in a healthy relationship.
Right.
They
Right,
can't function like that.
Their dysfunction is their function.
Right. So
Dysfunctional.
instead of having a system of men and women working together, it's not like that.
Yeah.
They want to connect with the thing that brought them to where they're at.
Yeah.
And they bond to the sickness. And that becomes their norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might sound crazy, but it ain't.
No, it's not. It happens every day.
It's people who thrive in it. They thrive in traumatic environments. They thrive in places where it's not real healthy for them, and they make it look normal. It's not normal.
It's not.
Yeah, it was. What was that quote? Oh man, because it's like, because sometimes people do it because it's an attention seeker. As long as the problem exists, it draws attention. And it was because I seen it on Facebook. What was the quote? Oh man, it was basically along the lines of, if you were sick, like you don't want to be healed because it's bringing you the attention. So if I go on Facebook, man, women ain't this. Man, men ain't that. Man, I was just saying, and then now everybody gonna start giving their 2 cents. Now you dead wrong about how you responded, but everybody gonna give their 2 cents and feed into that negativity. But then when somebody that got sense coming to tell you, well, no, baby, this is what you should have did. Like this is how you handle that. Oh no, I ain't stopping. Then you back on Facebook because correcting that doesn't get the response. Look, go on social media. Watch how much negative media gets compared to positive media.
Oh man,
1,000,000 times over.
it's atrocious.
It's atrocious. So sickness it draws. Look about it when we get sick. You get extra attention that you don't get when you ain't sick.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring you some soup. Let me get you some orange juice. Let me get you vitamin C. Let me get you your medication. You're being catered to because you're sick. But when you're healthy, nobody pays your attention.
Nope.
So it's almost like it becomes a norm because I don't want to say this, but it's the only word that's coming to my mind. It's almost like a requirement because you're sick. So that which now it requires you to go back to what God created, which was a system for man to have the help that he needs for everything.
Yep.
So now in the business relationship, I should attach myself to somebody that has more sense in this area than I do.
Right.
But sometimes we connect ourselves because you the homie. Let's go into business together.
Yeah.
But neither one of y'all got any type of sense. Now, we do understand LeBron James did the unthinkable. Well, he brought in his homeboys, but here's the difference. They made sure that they got trained and educated for where their area that they was going.
Yeah.
I done ran across people that's in business together. You ain't doing no personal development, no education about your field, none whatsoever. You out here winging it.
You just going.
You just going and you bringing your homeboys or your homegirls in, and they messing your business up.
Mm-hmm.
That's not checks and balances. That's not a system that you want entered into your life. You want people in your life that can speak honesty and integrity into your life, and disrupt the 17-year-old that you didn't deal with and you 45 now.
No. Don't be talking like that. No. People don't want to hear that.
Let me tell you how I feel.
They don't want to disrupt
Bro,
that.
Nope.
I'm telling you.
They don't, bro.
It-
They don't want to. They don't want to disrupt that because that causes change,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and change causes you to go back
Yeah.
and check everything that you
Yeah.
skipped over,
Yeah.
They do.
and
Yeah.
it's painful.
Yeah.
It's painful
Yeah.
because people look at you funny. You got to tell people no. You got to put stuff in order. You got to do a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do a lot of stuff. You got to check people who you love and who you care about. You got to. I got homeboys who can't cut their homeboys off. They too deep in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Bro, if I got a business, bro, and I got 5 employees and I gave all 5 employees a credit card with no limitation, we gonna go under real quick.
Real quick. Oh, we need this and that, and then you don't even use what you're using because you got access to it.
Bro, we got
Off of ideas, off of thoughts.
it's a machine that we got. What you call that thing? Oh man, I know the name of it, but it just left me. But basically, it's the machine that the receivers use. That you put the ball in, it got a big circle disc.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
put the ball in it, and you.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
I seen it, yeah.
And we got a new wide receivers coach, so I was telling him about it. He was like, well, he lit up like a Christmas tree. He was like, oh yeah, where's that? So I'm like, well, hey, okay. Anybody tell you about it? So I'm like, which I keep forgetting because now I gotta go. I just thought about it. So when I go out there tomorrow, I'm gonna make sure I try to remember to tell him and tell coach like you need to tell him where that's at so he can use it for them guys. Because bro, I'm like, because when the last head coach bought it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's gonna be dope. We can definitely use that. I don't know how much he paid for it, but I'm like, he barely used it. And he bought it. So I'm like, we got this piece of machine over here, and we're not even using it, but it's gonna help our guys get better, right? So I'm like, we got stuff in our lives and we don't use it to help us get better.
Yeah.
I went and Googled the machine because I knew the name of it. It's just left me right now. I can't think of it. The juggler. That's what it's called, if I remember right. Bro, when I saw the price, I'm like, he paid what for what? I say, God dog. But the fact that it cost that much really wasn't the issue. It was the fact that you paid that much for it and it's sitting in there collecting dust
And didn't use it.
and didn't use it.
But here's the thing. When stuff costs a lot, that's an indicator of how valuable it is.
Exactly.
If it's going to cost you pain and turmoil,
Discomfort.
but on the other end, it's going to be something that's fruitful, that lets you know on the other side of it, it's going to be worth it.
It's going to be worth it. I watched the guys when coach make them do a drill over again because you didn't do it right. When he fussing at them, when he's not in motivation mode, when he's in coach mode, now I'm finna chew your behind out. I watch the kids just to see how they respond, because how they respond is how they respond in the game.
Yep.
So when adversity hit, how are you gonna respond? And so I watched, like, even the new kids that ain't never been out there yet. They're incoming freshmen. You ain't never did this drill that we know of. Well, you ain't did it here. And so he even jumped on a couple of the veteran guys, like, why y'all got these guys, new guys? I was like, good. He's like, you don't, and it was funny because I was yelling the same thing. You don't lead from the back, you lead from the front. So you got our veteran guys letting new guys go in front of them. Like, you don't do that. You need to show them how to do the drill. And so as I'm watching, I'm like, okay. But in my mind, I'm like, well, dang, coach. He's a first-time kid. He don't know. But when the system is there, because the veterans knew they should have been in front of them guys to show them guys how to do that stuff, coach shouldn't have had to say it something.
Right.
And so I think what happened, I know with me, because what happens with me is a lot of times my frustration comes from when I'm dealing with an issue that I shouldn't have to deal with, because you should have had enough galls to deal with it on your own. And so now I have to deal with your mess, and I have to clean up your mess because you decided not to clean up your mess. So now I have to clean up my mess and your mess at the same time, and that's a bad combination for movement and progression. So when each of us individually deals with our balances that need to be checked, so to speak, then when we come together as a team, everything can kind of flow fluently.
Exactly.
But if you need to be checked and I need to be checked all the time at the same time, we're playing tug of war.
Yeah, because look, I'm gonna tell you something. The tug of war happens. Look, why you think some children don't respect their parents? How in the world? How in the world do you expect your kid or your coworker or your spouse or anything that you oversee to act a certain type of way if you live the exact opposite of what you're teaching them? How? They can see you a fraud.
Yep.
Employees don't respect managers who cut corners. You telling me not to steal out of the register. You will write me up. You will fire me if I steal out the register. But when you count the money out the safe and when you go to drop the money off, you caught on camera scamming money out the bag. But you will fire me if you see me take $5 and cuff it under the register. You want me to be an upright person. You want me to be upright in my relationships at school, my relationships at work, my personal relationships with other people. But you are the exact opposite of what you're teaching me. How in the world? How? HOW question mark. Can somebody please put in the text? Smoke signal, email it. Somebody answer the question.
Text it, tweet it.
And tweet it. Oh, group chat it. Put it in the chat. Like how?
Something.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just something that that has to be, that people have to be aware and be mindful of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's the adjustment that got to be made and it's a big cost, it's because it's worth it on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Bro, it's. I'm reading some of this stuff here, and I hate to go here, but everything leads to something. Even when you don't do nothing, you're doing nothing is leading to something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reading this question, and it's some stuff I typed in as Doug was typing some stuff in before we got started, right?
Right.
And here's a question that came up from what I had keyed in. And I'm gonna kind of shift the culture right here, which is what this question says. It says, how does unchecked power, check this out, bro. How does unchecked power quietly shift culture and norms? And that stuck with me because when I look at the climate today, and it's not a political thing, but when you look at what this administration is doing,
Yeah.
that fits that to a T. He's abusing his power. Like, you are doing stuff that is unlawful, but nobody's checking you. And it's shifting the culture of the United States of America. So you got this man that nobody's checking.
Mm.
And because of that, we are in a chaotic state as a nation. I don't care what your political views are. I don't care what you stand for at MAGA, Black Lives Matter. I don't care what you stand for. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Mm-hmm. Black, white, blue, red, it don't matter. So you have the power to direct your energy in a matter that can cause change or it can cause chaos. Mm-hmm. And so when you're looking at the things that go unchecked and you have the power to do so, then you have to accept everything that comes along with that. And so when we're saying that we want this type of lifestyle, we're saying that we want this type of relationship, but the power that you have is going unchecked and unused because you're doing the total opposite. Because you say we're free, but you're taking away our rights.
Facts.
So I'm paralleling.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So
It all-
it's tight, but it's right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you don't check what's going on in your surroundings and in your environment, just take a look outside.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the chaos that is going on. And if you don't want that in your home, then we encourage you to go seek the help. If you got to go to counseling, if you have to get a coach, mentor, whatever that looks like for you. But to go unchecked about your emotional feelings and the state of being of where you are and who you are, it's only going to get, it's not, trust me, it is not going to go away. If it's going to rear its head up in a situation, and I can share this, my wife and I, when we were dating, we didn't argue not one time until right before the wedding for 2 years. Because after a year, I knew she was the one that I wanted. I knew she was the one for me. So we took the following year to save up and have the wedding.
Yep.
Together 2 years, but the argument that we had was because of a disruptor that came into the relationship that went unchecked. And it caused a rift between the two main characters.
You and her.
You and her.
Yep. Because you got to look at who are the main characters of your life. What if you're a single mother? The main characters of your life is you and your kids. If you're a single father, the main characters of your life is you and your kids. If you got a family, wife, husband, spouse, kids, your main characters is your family. So when the disruptor comes in, so that means now what happens is the disruption multiplies. Because if I got a wife and 2 kids, then my disruption just multiplied 3 times because I include me, that's 4. Because I got to be mindful of my own disruptors as well as the disruptors of my kids and my wife. So as the man and the leader of the house, I have to be mindful to understand that that's a disruptor. When I see something in my life that I didn't deal with as a kid when I was 12 years old, or maybe I didn't deal with it when I was 12 years old, but I dealt with it by the time I was 20. And then I'd be like, hey, like with my daughter, like I recognize some of the tendencies that were not good that I had, that if I had not sat down and had a conversation with her, then she wouldn't have the ability to check those characteristics that weren't so good. And so those are disruptors. And so, but you don't know when it's going to show up.
No.
And I hate to use this analogy, but it's like a person that's possessed. You don't know when that demon is going to react. You could be in the middle of church service. Praise and worship could be high as all I know. Man, what is that? You don't know. It's there.
Yeah.
It was never dealt with. Something allowed it to enter its space and control it whenever it wanted to. And that's what disruptors do. They control you when they come into your life. They're dormant until something activates it. And so it can be 5, 10, 15, once again, like we said before, 20 years from now. But if you don't deal with it, it's a guarantee that it's going to show up somewhere in your life.
Bro,
You ain't never lie about that.
the most dangerous people on earth, are the ones who allow the unchecked to take over.
Yeah.
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 When they accept
Yeah.
the chaos, when they accept it, that it's a part of them, and they don't want to change it, run immediately as soon as you find out.
That's a dangerous place to be in.
That's a dangerous place to be at, because they're going to protect the chaos at all times.
Yep. At the detriment of your life.
They're going to protect it.
They're going to kill you to protect their chaos.
Because to them, it's the norm.
That's how they operate.
To them, it's the norm.
Yeah.
Bro, I got homies, bro. I'm telling you, I love the life and back, but them boys they just wild, and they don't see it no other way.
Yeah.
They die by a certain code, and they gonna live by a certain code. So to them, certain things is what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
Straight up.
And that's a dangerous mindset.
That's if they not trying to talk nothing now, they got.
Yeah.
They ready to handle it.
They ready. They understand a certain type of lingo, a certain type of code, and they don't want to talk about nothing. We get money this way, my woman this type of way. If you're not living 100 miles per hour, bro, I love you, but I can't roll with you. They like that with me, and we grew up together.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's where they're at. I know women, bro, who the chaos, that's them. Relationship. They own baby daddy stuff. They own that's what they protect it.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because that's their norm. So if a man who wants a family, that they not, what is that?
Right.
Every family I created was a failed system. That's all I know. So you try to be good to me, I'm gonna dog you out. You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
Until a person gets healing.
Right. Right.
Yo, can I ask y'all a question?
You.
And I don't know if this is like on the angel advocate type of
It is.
situation.
Every time you ask that question, every time
Yeah,
I
that's
ask
like, if you
Yeah.
gotta ask it, yeah, we already know. Hey, Jules.
Because I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to just be like, yeah, this is, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel you.
you're my brother, so I know
Yeah, for sure.
you'll point me in the right direction.
That's what we
right?
do. What we do.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to protecting their chaos, right?
Yeah.
It's funny how the protection of their chaos, they'll protect it at all costs. Even at times if you're the one catching the stray, right? But I had a situation with a friend. He's passed away now, and somebody I grew up with. You know my classmate. You know. And it's funny to me how you would do. It is stuck with me to this day. I was kind of going to dabble into what he had going on because we used to be like up and I was just like, no. You're like, no, Napoleon, no, you need to do what you do. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be over here. So would this be an angel advocate type of question? Like, is that even possible to have someone who not only brushed their unchecked balances off to you, but in the midst of still protecting the chaos, they still protected you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I see what you're saying. That wouldn't be
Yeah.
an angel's advocate
Okay.
situation.
Yeah.
But
Because-
that's a legit. Because you got people out there that, like he said, it's basically like what he said. They know they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and they're not gonna change it until they're ready to, even if they will be ready to. But they do have a heart and care enough to know that you ain't built like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
prime
Yeah.
example. I had a homie, right? So, this is when gang culture started to, because Tampa got original gangs. I'm not finna say it because whatever. But I know when other sets start coming, they start to sprout up, especially on the east side of Tampa, Jackson Heights area, stuff like that. So it was one particular one that it was a partner of mine that he was a part of, and when he left middle school, sixth grade, he was getting picked on and blah blah. When bro came back, eighth grade,
None of that.
ninth grade. Oh snap! Yo, he the man now. Like what happened to him? He done went with some wolves. He done went with some wolves. He don't now he the big homie. Now he knocking dudes out. So me and him tight. And here's the thing: we used to do music, right? So first he wasn't rapping. I've been rapping since the 5th grade. So he came back. He was rapping. He rap whatever like that. So he said, "Hey, bro, I'm on this whoop de whoop." I said, "Okay." You know what I'm saying? He gave me this folder, a couple folders, and I started learning.
Right.
I started learning the lingo. I started learning. If you see somebody with a Bulls jersey on, you start breaking it down. BULLS, body, unity, lust, love, and soul. You start learning the handshakes. You start learning the numbers, the colors. You start learning this stuff. I'm learning this culture. I'm actually finna pledge. I'm finna, what's up? So I go over there one day to one of the big homies' houses. It's like 30 of them. They flagged up. They read it up. Some black, some of them, they outside. They on the weights. They out there. Like it's real deal. Like it looked like somewhere in New York or LA, but it's right there in Tampa. And he put me to the side. He said, bro, I don't want you to even do nothing like this, bro. He said, he said, respectfully, he said, you don't need to be on this, bro. He said, you ain't built for this, bro. He said, I don't even want you to, he said, I ain't trying to be funny, but he said, I don't want you to be caught up in none of this stuff around here, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A couple weeks later, some junk went down. It was all in the news. Kidnapping, shooting at McDonald's. Big fight broke out at a high school. It led to a shooting across the street. Somebody got kidnapped. Same person who told me I don't want you to get caught up in this was caught up in it. So it's a chaos. So sometimes, it don't get me wrong, when people caught up in stuff, like I said earlier, most of the times when someone is in a chaotic state or their life is whatever, or they're protecting whatever, they didn't come out or start that way. Yeah. Stuff was done to them.
Right.
If it's not checked, you can turn into what was done to you.
Right.
And you can develop those traits. Every seed grows into something.
It does.
Now this is an angel's advocate. When you are caught up in somebody's chaos and you cannot tell it's chaos, 9 times out of 10, you can find yourself protecting that chaos because you can't recognize what exactly is going on. Somebody could be telling you, "Hey, man, they tripping. No, they ain't. No, that's just how he is. He is
He pointed
is
out.
he is undermined. No, girl, he is literally making you lower than what you are. He is lowering your self-esteem. No, it wasn't like that. You be defending that chaos because you're blind to it. Same thing with men. Nah, man, no, she just, nah, bro, no, she got to go. She not for you. No, it'll get better. No, it'll get better when she's gone. She got to go. Because the state that she's in, the state that he's in, it's not healthy for you.
Right.
Because they're not healthy themselves. We're not talking about perfect. We're talking about being present in a healthy state. Even if you got two people who are overweight, one 300 pounds, one 300 pounds. Tuesday, he eat pizza and drank 2 liters soda. Tuesday, she eat apples and drank water and hit the trail. Guess who's the healthier person? This one. By action, by movement. They still kind of in the same spot, but they're healthier. So you don't have to be perfect.
Right.
You just got to be present. Be willing to make adjustments. Be willing to go back. Be willing to close doors. Be willing to pull those roots up.
Right.
Be willing to handle your stuff. That makes you a healthier individual. Therefore, we can endure and go through something. Right? You know what I mean? So it's about being healthy, bro. You will find yourself, if you're not careful, if you're caught up in it, you will find yourself defending that chaos because you can't recognize it.
And you'll ultimately become the casualty.
Yeah. That's crazy. You become a casualty of your own chaos.
Your own chaos.
Yeah, let alone somebody else. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. I think just kind of hone it down, man. I think y'all let me know if you agree. I think if we was to create like a format from tonight, in order to put a system in place, the first thing you got to do is be real and honest and acknowledge the fact that you need healing in that particular area. I think that would be the first thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Being able to really be truly and honest about yourself that, hey, I need work in this area and I got to go. And you got to go outside of certain things you got to go outside of yourself to get help for. There are certain things that you're able to do on your own. Yeah, I get there's certain things that are inside you that you can handle. But then there's other things. That's why they have counselors and coaches and mentors and stuff like that. So, and you really need that. You need that accountability in your life.
Yes.
It is a necessity. If you are a person of progression that is trying and contending for the success in your relationship, contending means you're in the fight, you're in the struggle for it. You hadn't given up on it. May not be where you wanted to be, but you're contending for it. That means you're struggling, you're entanglement. You have an entanglement with it. So when you were able to acknowledge that, that is the first step in allowing the healing process. Yes. Notice what we said, healing process. So once you acknowledge that, then the system, then you got to create a system. That system may be you going online, searching for a counselor. Check your insurance to see, because a lot of times your insurance covers therapy. So we always want to leave you with some tangible stuff too, man, because we put a lot of stuff out there. So you go through your acknowledgement that you need to be healed. Then you put a system in place. And I like what Alexander said, when he asked his son, what he need to work on. Then he circled back. Hey, how am I doing in this area? That's a system.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? When you go to counseling, that's a system of putting your accountability into your life and giving them the ability to pull out that stuff, to weed out the weeds in order for the grass to grow. You know what I'm saying? And then once that system is in place, then now you can manage it. You can't manage it if the system is in place, because once the system gets in place, the system, once you put the proper system in place, the system, you will create an indicator within the system that will send off an alert to let you know, hey, this is a trigger.
Warning.
This is a trigger. Don't respond a certain way. And then if that happens, then guess what? Now you got to revert back to the system to go back and correct that.
Got to dial back.
You know what I'm saying? So because you got to learn how to manage it. Because guess what's going to happen? As you move forward, there's going to be more resistance.
And you know, I got.
Go ahead, bro.
And this is one thing that I found out that is 1,000%. Everything you just said is
Spot on.
spot on. But this was one thing I want to add. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I said that because I've had to cling on to this recently. Whenever you start to drift away from the system, you need submission to pull you back to it. And sometimes things are hard to do. It's hard to face those things.
Right.
But if you are submitted to someone who was perfect, and if you are submitted to someone who was over you, and who knows all and who loves you, then through him, you can endure the process so you can get back on track, so you can go through with it. Because sometimes you have to crawl to go. So it might take you a month to look up a counselor. If it take you a month, you use that whole month to pull, and then you pull the trigger.
Right.
But you
Because it's
have
active.
It's active, but you have to. Once you're, if you're submissive all the time and you're obedient and you're submissive, then when you begin to drift, then you can, like Mike said, get on track.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? But that submissiveness is what keeps you there. You gotta, you have to turn over your heart. You gotta turn the whole thing over.
You do.
So you can cling on to something that's higher to you that can help you make decisions that you normally wouldn't make. That can help you see things how you normally wouldn't see it.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that being submissive, it might be hard to tell them no. It may be hard to cut her off. It may be hard. But through Jesus, what does God say about that? What does God say about how you treating her? That's how you need to move. But you can't do that on your own. You got to be submissive, and you can do it with his power. Not with your might, but with him. I can do all things. And I might have to crawl to do it, but every inch I'm doing it with him. And he's the only reason why I'm getting this done.
Facts.
Yeah, that's
Tap
good.
into the soul.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're into that, man. I want to say this before we get up out of here, man, and we're going to close this on down. And but I think, unless you got something else to add from what I started off with as far as the steps, acknowledge, put a system in place, and then manage the system that you put in place.
Right.
I think that's really good. But what I would like to end with one of Martin Luther King Jr. quotes. I have a few quotes that he has. That's one of my favorites, and this is one of them. It's very simple, and you're going to know it once you hear it. And it says, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And so we want to end it off with that. So it's just moving forward. Just keep moving forward no matter what you do. Do what you can. And then you'll find yourself on the other side of success, as we always like to say. So we want to go ahead and get up out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all know how we like to end the segment. Shoot for the top, because the bottom is way too crowded. And if you think different and be different, you'll have the opportunity to live different. And once again, we'll see you on the other side of success. Blueprint Nation, we'll see y'all next week. Peace.